And moving on to another story, Access Holdings PLC has announced the appointment of Ms. Bolaji Agbede as the acting Group Chief Executive Officer. Now, this follows the death of its former Group Chief Executive Officer, Herbert Wigwe. Wigwe died in a helicopter crash alongside his wife, son, and a former chairman of the Nigeria Exchange Group, Abimbola Ogunbanjo, on Friday. A statement made by the company's board of directors and dated February 12, 2024, stated that the appointment was subject to the approval of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Let's now tell you what we know about Bolaji Agbede. Ms. Agbede joined Access Bank in 2003 as Assistant General Manager and was responsible for managing the bank's portfolio of chemical trading companies. She has nearly 3 decades of professional experience cutting across banking and business consultancy services. She served in different roles at the bank, including Head Group Human Resource between 2010 and 2022, before she was appointed the company's founding executive director, business support in 2022, a role she held until her new appointment. She holds a bachelor's degree in mathematics and statistics from the University of Lagos and a master's of business administration degree from Cranfield University, UK in 2002. She's also a member of the Chartered Institute of Management UK and the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. And joining me on the news to talk about this is Muktar Mohammed, CEO, Asheer Investment. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Morning.
Well, looking at the new CEO and her qualifications, do you think it's a square peg in a square hole?
Well, I think so, because again, if you look at his qualification, and I think he has been with them since 2003, where this process started, trying the growth of Access Bank actually started from 2003, where they have metamorphosed into the big bank that they are today. So I think she knows the process. She is the oldest executive director, and then she moved from there to becoming the business development director of the holding company. We must always remember that the holding company is different from Access Bank itself. Access Bank is under the holding company. The holding company will have other businesses like the pension fund administrator, which they just acquired some minutes ago. So a month ago, they are also acquiring other subsidiary of other companies outside the shopping company. They are also into payment system. So Access Holding is a big entity which Access Bank is under. So we must always get that clear. And she has been working with the lead CEO in building that holding company. And like your report rightly said, that holding company is just I think it's about going to the second year now that we have Access Holding. So it's not a very old company, but again, she was one of the founding executive directors.
Do you think in any way the death of Wigwe will likely, affect the expansion of Access Holdings?
Well, I don't think so, but it depends on who was doing the negotiation. It was not just Wigwe that was doing it, even if he really was the key driver. And most of these expansion, especially in acquisition, are almost completed. I don't unless there's any new one they are really working on, and then that is when we'll now begin to know if really it's they are trying to slow down on that. But as it stands now, I don't see them slowing down. And if there's any negotiation they are into before now, I think they will continue with it. But if there is none, if there is, if he has finished all that he was negotiating, or there are some that she's not ready to negotiate again, then we'll begin to say, okay, maybe the strategy has changed. But I don't think the strategy has changed, because, like I said, she's been with them from 2013 now.
Okay, let's take a moment to look once again at the portfolio of Ms. Bolaji Agbede, the new, chief executive for Access Holdings. What do you think would be expectations from her upon her resumption of duties?
Well, it's a big shoe. It's a very big shoe to fill. And you must know that the late
Well, a little more about the late Herbert Wigwe. Yes, we understand the bank he co-founded, is, has corporate governance, and that's why we have Agbede taking over. But about the other structures, for other ventures he has, do you think such structures exist?
Wigwe is a visionary leader. If you looked at some of his posts, even before his demise, one of the last posts he posted, he's talking about living a life of purpose, not, which I always say, not a life of pension, but a life of purpose. He kept driving the growth of every of his establishment. And I'm sure you're talking about the educational sector. And if you look at that video that was trending some days ago, he made mention telling the community that this university belongs to you people. And my own is to drive it to make sure that it becomes world class, that it be proud of. And I'm sure that is what Wigwe is all about. He has true succession plan. You could see the swift nature that Access Bank have responded within 48 hours to get a new CEO. That's to tell you the kind of succession plans that they have. And I think a man of vision never dies. His vision continues to live after he's gone. All you need to look, you need to look at with Disney of this world, the Ford Motor of this world, and that was even when you look at J.B. Morgan, one of the largest financial institutions in the world, and I think that's what the late Albert Wigwe was trying to build. Even if you talk about educational institution, the only challenge we will have is that maybe it didn't stay so long to midwife the growth of the university to a very laudable height because of the dreams that he has for the investing. But for the assets holding, you could see that the structures are there to move forward. But for the investing, we'll wait and see what happens there. But I think it will still be moving forward because you remember a week before now, there were publications that said, why are you collecting fee in dollars? And he said, look, I'm not collecting fee in dollars from Nigerian students. I'm looking at the investee as an investee that will end effects for this economy, attract every African in any part of the world, and also thinking of attracting people that are even non-African. He was looking at the investee to be a global player in the educational sector, just like the way he looks at Access Bank to be a global player in the financial sector. I think there should be a succession plan because you cannot run an institution like that on your own. That's what I feel. And the coming days will unveil most of this thing, but I can confidently say that he was a visionary leader, and a true visionary leader is the man that thinks of successions.
All right, thank you so much for your time on the news, Muktar Mohammed.
My pleasure, Fab.